Becoming a carpenter was never meant to be an act of rebellion. I just really liked the smell of sawdust and the satisfying clunk of hammer hitting nail. But apparently, in my family, opting for woodworking over white coats or courtrooms was like joining a cult that worships plywood. For 10 years, I was the family's mystery relative, the one who simply ceased to exist. No holiday invitations, no birthday wishes, not even a passive-aggressive group chat message. They vanished like I was a secret they regretted sharing. I wasn't kicked out with dramatic flair, no big shouting match or awkward intervention. They just stopped acknowledging me, like some weird game of emotional hide and seek, except I was never it. My younger sister Naomi became a doctor, my older brother Darren became a lawyer, and I became invisible. Apparently, wielding a gavel or a stethoscope got you an invite to the family table. Wielding a chisel? Not so much. I watched them pose for family reunion photos on Facebook, grinning like toothpaste models, while I sat on my porch, not even a footnote in their curated lives. I once asked my mother why I had not been invited to a family gathering. Her reply, "We figured you'd be too busy or uncomfortable." Busy? Yes. Uncomfortable? Only when I tried to digest that excuse. Eventually, I stopped reaching out, because, funny thing, when you're constantly reaching and no one grabs your hand, you start using that hand to build a life instead. So I did. I moved to a small town 2 hours away where nobody knew I was the family failure. I started my own carpentry business, beginning with basic repairs and eventually moving into custom furniture. Years of sanding, planning, and pouring my soul into wood paid off. One day, a hotel owner commissioned me to design themed luxury interiors. The work caught the eye of magazines, social media influencers, and even landed me a short TV spot. I was not just stable, I was thriving. I bought land. I built my dream home from the ground up. Every inch, from the hardwood floors to the beams above, was my creation. And during all that, not a peep from the family. Total radio silence until I became interesting again. Like an old vintage chair someone had thrown out, now polished and valuable. Then, 2 months before Christmas, a message arrived from Darren, the family's golden boy turned messenger pigeon. "Mom wanted to know if you'd host this year's family reunion. Your house is stunning." Right, after a decade of being ghosted, suddenly I was the chosen venue. No apologies, no explanations, just "Hey, your place looks nice, can we use it like a photo booth backdrop?" I didn't respond, I had a better plan. On Christmas Eve, I lit the giant tree I'd carved myself, filled the house with the scent of cinnamon pastries from my grandmother's recipe, and set the table with care. Then I invited one guest, Mr. Hampton, my late grandfather's best friend, the only person who never treated me like a background character in my own life story. We were sharing laughs and pastries when a knock came at the door, and there they were. The whole cast of We Forgot You Existed. Parents, siblings, cousins, the works. Naomi exclaimed how beautiful my home was. Darren joked, "Didn't think a wood guy could pull this off, huh?" My mother's eyes scanned the handcrafted woodwork like she'd stepped into a Pinterest board. "My dear, you've done so well for yourself." Yes, I had, without them. Then came the casual suggestion. We were thinking maybe we could all spend the night here, like old times. What old times? The ones where I was deliberately left out. I didn't flinch. I simply stepped aside, gestured to the warmth inside Mr. Hampton sipping wine, the fire crackling, the peaceful glow, and said, "You won't be doing that." They blinked, confused, so I gave them the truth. "You cut me off for 10 years. Not a phone call, not a visit. But now that you see what I have built, suddenly I'm family again? Tonight is for people who never left." Their faces turned pale like they just realized the fireplace was not the only thing burning. Naomi looked away. Darren said nothing. My father cleared his throat like he wanted to say something meaningful but could not find the words. And I finished with, "You did not lose me because of what I do. You lost me because you made me believe I wasn't enough." Then I closed the door, not with anger, with peace. Mr. Hampton raised his glass and toasted to the family we choose. And I realized in that moment, I was not missing anything. I had everything I needed right there: connection, love, and a living room built with both hands and heart. The next day, my phone blew up missed calls, texts, guilt-fueled emails. My mother left a voicemail, her voice quivering somewhere between rage and regret. "This is not how family acts," she said. "No kidding." Naomi texted some long poetic piece about how excluding people is just as bad as isolating yourself. Darren, true to form, tried to make it about me being too sensitive. Apparently, they didn't mean to leave me out all those times. It was just easier. Right, easier for them. What they really wanted wasn't reconciliation. It was reputation rehab. They wanted to align themselves with the successful version of me, the one who made headlines, not the struggling carpenter they once pretended didn't exist. The guilt campaign hit its peak when Naomi posted some cryptic Facebook status. When you try to reconcile and get rejected, the pain is unreal. Her friends, oblivious to the history, sent her sympathy comments and virtual hugs. I ignored it, until my aunt, who had quietly watched the family implode from the sidelines, messaged me privately. She said, "I saw Naomi's post. I just want you to know, you did the right thing." That message hit harder than I expected. It made me question everything. Did I go too far? Had I become the bitter man I tried not to be? But then I remembered the birthdays I'd spent alone, the holidays I'd been erased from, the years they acted like I wasn't even real. This wasn't revenge. It was finally putting down a burden I never should have carried. And then came the real twist. A knock at the door, this time from someone I hadn't seen in over 15 years. Rachel, my cousin. She looked older, tired, but sincere. No performative apology, just the truth. "I was there," she said. "I saw what they did, and I stayed silent. I shouldn't have." She told me she doubted her instincts, believed the narrative that I distanced myself. She told me about the moments she wanted to speak up but was told to stay quiet. And she told me she was sorry. It didn't fix everything, but it mattered. Someone had seen me. Someone had remembered. Then came the final, unexpected chapter. A letter, official, legal. My father had passed away. I hadn't even known he was sick. They didn't tell me. The letter wasn't from my family. It was from his legal team. He had left me something. Not money, not land. A notebook, leather-bound, weathered. Inside, his handwriting. Page after page, confessions. Notebooks of regret, fear, and truths he never had the courage to say out loud. He admitted to pushing me away to protect the family's image. He thought I'd come back around. He thought pretending I didn't matter would somehow fix me. He admitted every act of silence had broken something inside him too. The last entry crushed me. "You are deserving of being heard. That's why I left this. You are entitled to decide what comes next." I did not go to the funeral. Naomi, naturally, made it a photo shoot. Black and white portraits. Crying in designer sunglasses. Darren at the podium like he was hosting the Oscars. I wanted no part of it. Instead, I sent one letter to my mother. A photocopy of Dad's final entry. One line added from me. "I was never gone. You just weren't looking hard enough." That should have been the end. But life does not do clean exits. 2 months later, Naomi showed up at my training center. No call, no warning. Just walked in like a ghost from a canceled sitcom. She said, "I read it." And for once, she didn't try to rewrite the past. She admitted the jealousy, the guilt, the discomfort they all felt when my absence reflected poorly on them. She admitted how my success became threatening not because I was better, but because I'd done it on my own terms. She didn't ask for forgiveness, just truth, and I gave it. I appreciate the honesty, but it doesn't erase the past. It just means we can stop pretending. And that was enough. We were not best friends. We didn't become pen pals, but we became honest. Darren never said a word. Some people only understand what they've lost when they have nothing left. The following Christmas, my home was full again, but not with blood relatives. With people who chose me, Rachel, Mr. Hampton, my apprentices, my neighbors, my real family. I looked around that night and realized I did not need their approval. I didn't need their apology. I'd built something stronger than acceptance. I'd built peace. And that was the best thing I ever made. And that, my friends, is how a carpenter built more than just a house. He built a life, a legacy, and a living room so warm even regrets couldn't get through the door. If this story hit you right in the feels, made you cheer, cry, or even reconsider calling your cousin back, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe to the channel.